Okay, second grade, we're back for our writing lesson now that I have everything set up. What we're going to do today on our writing paper, okay? You have your writing paper. And there's only 2 lines on the front, and this is where we're going to write our opening sentence. We are going to learn to write an opening sentence. And then on the back side, you can use your sequence words using some information from our chart we did yesterday, and you can write the sequencing words saying first Squanto, da-da-da-da-da, okay? Next, Squanto, da-da-da-da-da, and make your sentences using some things off of that paper. We're not just copying what you wrote. You need to put them in a sentence, so you can't just say, first Squanto born in 1585 in a village. You've got to make it a sentence. That doesn't make sense. So, or after Squanto in 1619 returned to his village. Doesn't make sense. You've got to add some words to make it make sense. But before we do that, we want to use this side of our paper, and I'm going to show you how to write a good opening sentence. So, an opening sentence catches the reader's eye. So you're going to tell the reader in a few words what the story's all about. Okay, what the story's all about. So, let's say if I was going to write a story about playing with my cat, and I was going to put everything that we do all day long together using first, then, next, last in my story to say what I do with my cat all day long. Well, an opening sentence. This is the first thing that the reader reads. The reader reads it and really wants to know whether or not they're going to continue to read or they're going to put it back. It's just like when you pick up a book. The very first sentence in a book, the very first couple of sentences in a book, if it doesn't interest you, if the author doesn't make it interesting for you, you put that book back and you go get a different one. So you're the writer. You have got to make your story interesting for people to read. Okay? So, like I said, if I'm going to write about my cat, playing with my cat, this would be an opening sentence that I would not do. You can read that. Play with cat. Okay, so if I wanted to use this as an opening sentence, I play with cat. Well, number one, you're just kind of listing something. It's not even a complete sentence. But this would not be a very good opening sentence. So what? You play with cat. It doesn't interest me. So let's change it just a little bit. Let's say I might do it this way. I like to play with my cat. Okay, that's a little bit better opening sentence. I like to play with my cat. Not bad, but it's still really not interesting. You're just telling me that you like to play with your cat. Okay? Here's another one. I still wouldn't, it's good, but it's not the best. So if I had to give this a star, this would be my 1 star. This would be my 2 stars. Okay? Well, let's see. This one I would say would be a 3 star. So if I did this for my opening sentence. Today, I am going to tell you what I do when I play with my cat. Hey, that's better. Today I'm going to tell you what I do when I play with my cat. So you're telling me, okay, you're going to tell me some things that you do with your cat. And you're telling me when? Today. So that would be 3 stars. That's a good sentence. That's a good sentence for 3 stars, okay? So we go from, I play with cat, I like to play with my cat. Today I'm going to tell you what I do when I play with my cat. So those are some really good sentences starters. Good sentence starters. But let's see if we can get 4 stars, okay? Let's see if we can get a 4-star sentence. Okay, so let's see if we can get 4 stars out of it. Okay? Let's see. My cat and I like to play all day in my house. Okay? So now you're telling me that, or I'm telling you that I play with my cat in my house. So now I've added a little more details. I play with my cat in my house. This one was, today I'm going to tell you what I do when I play with my cat. That's a simple sentence, okay? And it's a nice sentence. And it tells me what you're going to do. That you're going to tell me that. This one says, my cat and I like to play all day in my house. Now I can transition to that going to right. First, we da-da-da-da-da. Then, we da-da-da-da-da. Next, my cat and I da-da-da-da-da. Last, and then I tell you what happens last. So, a good beginning sentence catches a reader's eye. Catches the reader's eye. Not bad. I play with a cat, or I play with cat. I like to play with my cat. Today I'm going to tell you what I do when I play with my cat. It's good, and it tells me what I'm needing. This one just juices it up. It tells me where you're going to play with your cat. My cat and I like to play all day in my house. Okay? My cat and I like to play all day in my house. So let's think about the story of Squanto. Okay? Let's think about what kind of an opening sentence we might be able to come up with when we talk about that. Okay, well, we learned some things about Squanto. So I'm going to go on and get rid of this. And we're going to try to write that opening sentence that interests the reader about what you're going to say. So, remember, you're going to write your opening sentence on these first 2 lines. Everything else is going to go on the back. So, we know that Squanto is a Native American. Okay? We know that he helped people, especially the Pilgrims. We know that he learned different languages when he was in England. We know that all of his tribe died when he was gone and away from them. So he had a good life. He had a rough life. And he had, some friends along the way that helped him. So I want to kind of put all that together in an opening sentence. So for an opening sentence might be this, okay? You might say something about Squanto, and don't copy this, Squanto, a Native American, had a good life, but some bad times. So, if I had an opening sentence, something like this, and like I said, don't write this. Squanto, a Native American, had a good life, but some bad times. So as I'm writing now, I can talk about that he was a Native American and that when he was born and where he was born. I can talk about the good things that he did. I can talk about the bad things that happened to him, keeping them in order as I write. Okay? So, the good things, some of the things about him being a Native American was we know when he was born, and we know where he was born, and we know what type of Indian he was. So, my first sentence could be something that first Squanto, who was born in 1585, lived in the village with the Wampanoag Indians. So that's introducing you some more to him. Next, this was kind of a bad thing. Next, he was forced to go to Spain, but he got away. After he was in England, he returned to his village and everybody was gone. Something bad. Then he helped, when the Pilgrims landed, he helped them learn to plant crops and to fish and to hunt. Finally, at the end of the growing season, the Pilgrims and Squanto had a celebration called the First Thanksgiving. So that kind of tells different things about him. He was a Native American, so I talked about that a little bit. I talked about some good things, and I talked about some bad things in his life. Okay? So, I know it's going to be hard for you to come up with a good first sentence. Let's see if you can come up with a good first sentence. Okay? You can change the words around. Okay? You could just say Squanto had a good life. You can do your best. But try not to use what I wrote, please. Try to do something totally different. And then on the back side, use your paper there to write sentences. You can't just write what you wrote because those are not complete sentences. You need to make them in sentences. Capitals and periods. That tells me what a sentence is, okay? You can use mine as a guide, but try to come up with your own beginning sentence, okay? Good luck on this, and I will see you in just a little bit. Goodbye.